Welcome back, everybody. 10-Minute IO, where you'll find bite-sized information on all topics related to industrial organizational psychology. My name is Stephen Jong, and I'm an IO psychologist. Today, we'll be talking about the difference between theory and hypotheses. There's quite a bit of confusion when it comes to the difference between theory and hypotheses. I've heard people refer to theory as hypotheses and vice versa. I'm going to simplify the two here so you can go out and set it straight with your friends, colleagues, and whomever keeps confusing the two concepts. Consider these questions here. Why are some people more successful than others? Why are some people more likely to commit a crime? What factors contribute to a long and happy marriage? Why are some people better able to cope with life's difficulties than others? Now, I'm sure you may have thought about these ideas or answers to these questions. Your explanation to each of these questions is your theory. Now, keep in mind that you may or may not be correct. Depending on your theory, you may even be partially correct, but they are your explanations or your theory. I'll show you what I mean. A theory is nothing more than a potential explanation for an observation or a phenomenon. I say potential here because theories can often change, and they do, as we gain more knowledge around a given subject or phenomenon. That's why I'd say it's a potential explanation, not a fact, not the truth or the law, but one possible explanation among many possible explanations. Now, good theories are supported by further investigations. As we gain more and new and better knowledge, we're able to strengthen the theory or weaken the theory depending on how good your theory is. And this is a good thing because using the scientific method, we can test those explanations or theories using what we're calling hypotheses. And hypotheses here are simply verifiable predictions intended to put a given theory to the test. One thing I want to emphasize here is the word verifiable. Scientific hypotheses need to be verifiable or testable, meaning that we can observe and measure them, whatever variables you're trying to capture. For example, if you tell me that it only rains when God is upset, unless you can somehow prove to me that God is in fact upset right now, there's no way of testing that. So it becomes a non-hypothesis. Let's go through a couple examples. Let's say that Luigi is set up on a blind date with Ping Ping. Ping Ping, by the way, is a real name of a friend of mine. They go to a nice restaurant, let's say one of those bistros that cost 30% extra because of the word bistro in the name. They walk into the restaurant and notice that it's really busy. The waiter is late getting to the table, and to compound the problem, he appears to be in a rush. Luigi is fine with this, but notices that Ping Ping appears a little bit irritated. What really angers Ping Ping, though, is when the food takes 20 minutes to get to their table and her sea bass is too salty. At this point, Ping Ping is furious. She calls the waiter and starts raising her voice, saying that the service is terrible and the food is even worse. Let's make this a little more dramatic and say that Ping Ping throws her wine glass on the floor. The glass shatters, it goes all over the place. And by this time, everybody in the restaurant's looking at them, and Luigi just wants to crawl into a hole somewhere. Luigi feels terrible, but somehow calms Ping Ping down, apologizes to the waiter, and they both leave. Now let's look at this incident and try to explain Ping Ping's behavior. We observed that Ping Ping got unusually angry with the waiter. It's important to emphasize the word unusual because otherwise, if her behavior was normal, there's no point in trying to explain her behavior by coming up with a theory. Now, lying in bed, Luigi tries to come up with an explanation or theory for why Ping Ping behaved that way. After some thought, he concludes that Ping Ping overreacted and she did so because she must be an angry person with a short fuse. Now, keep in mind, Luigi's theory may or may not be true. It's simply his explanation. Now, in order to test that explanation or that theory, we come up with some hypotheses. Now, these hypotheses can be used to test Luigi's theory, which says that she must be an angry person with a short fuse. I show two hypotheses here. I preface it with the words, I predict, in front of it because we know that this is a prediction. If, in fact, Luigi is correct in his explanation that Ping Ping must be an angry person with a short fuse, then from that we can logically predict that, in general, Ping Ping will engage in arguments with others more frequently than the average person. That's hypothesis number one. Number two predicts that Ping Ping will experience frustration faster than the average person. Now, do you see that the two hypotheses stem directly from Luigi's theory or explanation that Ping Ping must be an angry person with a short fuse? Logically, we can make these two predictions based on Luigi's explanation of Ping Ping's behavior. Let's look at another example. What is your theory on why some couples stay in long and happy marriages? Remember, your potential explanation for this question becomes your theory. Observation. Some couples are able to stay in loving relationship for much longer than others. Why? Again, the answer to the question why is your theory. I present 3 micro theories here. I say micro because they're specific explanations that often combine with others to explain a single phenomenon. In the next slide, I'll show you what I mean by the different levels of theories. Explaining the complexities of human behavior often require multiple contributing factors, hence the need for micro theories as well as grand theories. Just think about why some of your colleagues are happy or unhappy at work. I'm sure you can come up with multiple explanations or contributing factors to answer that question. But for now, we may say that some couples are able to stay in loving relationships much longer than others because they share similar values, are more patient with one another, and share more common interests. So from here, we can make 3 predictions. I predict couples who share similar values will stay together longer and will be happier. Hypothesis number 2, I predict couples who are more patient with each other will stay together longer and will be happier, and so on. I hope you can see that these hypotheses or predictions come directly out of the theory. Now, if you're able to combine these 3 micro theories into a single theory, then you may have something like a mid-range or a grand theory that explains why some couples are able to stay in a loving relationship for much longer than others. Before we end this video segment, let me just explain what I mentioned earlier about theories coming in different sizes. Some theories, like string theory, tries to explain many different phenomena that occur in the material or physical world. It explains everything. Other theories, like microtheories we saw, are much more specific to situations and individuals. In between are the mid-range theories like fundamental attribution error in social psychology, Locke and Latham's goal-setting theory, Bandura's social learning theory, and so on. So depending on your theory's level of specificity, they can have different uses. They can be micro, mid-range, or grand theories. Thanks everyone for watching. I will be transferring a lot of these videos as well as articles into a blog site called 10minuteio.com. So please look for it in a couple weeks. Look for more videos to come, and thanks again. And until next time, have a great day.